What's up, residents? Alistair here, and today we're going to talk more about some of the cut content from Godzilla vs. Kong, such as how the story was changed in the editing room, including how Godzilla was meant to have armor? But that's crazy, I hear you saying. Well, yeah, it was. That's why it's not in the film. But we're going to try and delve into what this insane idea might have been, and why they thought it was a good idea in the first place. But first, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at DangerVille Team, where you can find out all the Godzilla news before we even make a video about it. Join the conversation. Right, let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. Welcome back. So by now I'd hope that most, if not all of you watching this video has seen Godzilla vs. Kong. Obviously the film features epic battles between the titular characters, but to some of you it might have been a surprise to see Mechagodzilla show up to fight Godzilla and Kong in the final act. Mechagodzilla entered the battle by bursting out the side of a mountain and proceeded to beat the living crap out of our very own King of the Monsters. But many of you might have already known about this classic monster returning thanks to some leaked images of the Playmates figures in a licensing event over a year ago. We got to see the Red Skullcrawler, Warbat, and even Mechagodzilla, all shown in all its low-quality goodness, which got hardcore fans hyped to see this iconic mechanized giant returning in the film. But there's one thing that got fans talking, and that's what appears to be Godzilla with a red armor plating placed over its dorsal plates, which upon closer inspection is named Mechagodzilla. Now obviously this doesn't show up in the film whatsoever, but how could this be? Pretty much every other figure here has seen a release, so was Mechagodzilla cut very late into production? Let's try and find out. Well, the first thing I did was look through the newly released Godzilla vs. Kong art book for any clues. And whilst there's tons of new juicy details about specific cutscenes, like the moment where Nathan Lin discovers the wreck from his brother's mission to the Hollow Earth, there's nothing about Mechagodzilla or power armor of any kind. So we'll have to resort to looking through the original story of Godzilla vs. Kong before it was cut down to a smaller runtime. Well, first let's check out the synopsis for the film and how it's developed. Here's the synopsis from 2018. In a time when monsters walk the earth, humanity's fight for future sets Godzilla and Kong on a collision course that will see the two most powerful forces of nature on the planet collide in a spectacular battle of the ages, as Monarch embarks on a perilous mission into uncharted terrain and unearths clues to the Titan's origins. A human conspiracy threatens to wipe the creatures, both good and bad, from the face of the earth forever. Alright, that sounds pretty close to the film we got, although Monarch's involvement with the Hollow Earth mission was significantly reduced. But how does this compare with the 2020 synopsis much later on in production? In a new world where man and monster now coexist, Monarch must lead the way into a prosperous future alongside the Titans, keeping humanity in check. However, rival factions that want to manipulate the Titans for war begin to rise under the guise of a nefarious conspiracy, threatening to wipe out all life on the planet. Meanwhile, on Skull Island, strange seismic activity draws the attention of Godzilla and Kong alike. So we see some very stark differences here. First being that it states a rival faction is attempting to manipulate the Titans for war, and that strange seismic activity on Skull Island draws the attention of Godzilla and Kong alike. The rival faction is obviously Apex, with the goals of destroying the Titans instead of researching them. And leading up to the film's release, we had a variety of theories based around how they might be manipulating the Titans into fighting, although none of that was present. Instead, Godzilla was naturally sensing the use of huge power sources and concluded that a weapon was being made. His search ended up in Hong Kong, where he fought Mechagodzilla, who was using the skull of his arch-rival Ghidorah to control it. But thanks to some interviews, we've noted that the Orca was originally meant to make a return in the film, this time called Orca Z. Although we know little about it, it's likely that it's a more powerful and refined version of the Orca that can maybe even control Godzilla, with the Z in Orca Z potentially standing for Zilla. The act of humanity controlling Godzilla would take the god out of his name, so calling it Orca-Zilla would be rather fitting. In the original story, it's rumored that Godzilla was indeed being controlled by Apex using the Orca to give the impression that he had gone rogue. and that Simmons was needing Monarch to head into the Hollow Earth to uncover the secrets about Godzilla and Kong's rivalry, as the synopsis states. Though, what could the seismic activity on Skull Island be, considering we spend a very small amount of time actually on the island? Well, at the ending of Godzilla King of the Monsters, it's hinted that Skull Island has the attention of all the Titans, and that they're even being drawn to it. Not only that, but it also states that Monarch is building their very own mechanized giant on Skull Island, which, as we know, ended up being Mechagodzilla. Although in the film, it appears to be moved from Skull Island to Hong Kong to make for a more visually interesting fight. It's also said that Apex was using Godzilla as a power source for Mechagodzilla, with assistance from the Orca, which could potentially be what this is, a device to drain the radiation from Godzilla and place it into the mechanized giant. But there is the discussion that it could have simply been a toy gimmick, similar to the Godzilla Doom Island figures from Trendmasters, where Godzilla sported a set of shiny armor plating for no other reason than because it was a cool toy feature to have to differentiate it from the other Godzilla toys. Could Mechagodzilla have been created in a similar fashion? Well, regardless of what conclusion you make, it's very clear that a lot was cut from the film. Whether that was for the best or not is completely down to you. I personally am happy we didn't get to see Mechagodzilla in the film, or any Orca mind-controlling Godzilla, since that would contradict the message of these movies that nature is uncontrollable. Seeing a giant armor plating around Godzilla would just look ridiculous in my eyes, at least right now in the Monsterverse. So there you have it. Mechagodzilla is the biggest anomaly in the whole of the Monsterverse. There's a variety of explanations to why this exists, but nothing conclusive. Because this was most likely something that was thought of very early into production. A lot of the time, toy companies are simply handed concept art and told to make products based on that, so chances are these were simply holdovers from the idea phase of production that never made it into the film. The name Mechagodzilla was later on used as the name for the large 13-inch Playmates Godzilla figure, so I guess it wasn't entirely thrown out, but it shares absolutely no resemblance to the armored version we saw in the leaked images. But what do you think about the unused Mechagodzilla? Would you like to have seen it? What do you think its purpose was? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, then leave a like, because it helps this video reach even more fans. Don't forget to subscribe and stomp that notification button to become a resident of DangerVille today. I've been Alistair, and we'll see you residents in the next one.